Welcome, everyone, and good afternoon. We are the Rotary Club of Gainesville, and today is November 16th. So happy to have you all here, all Rotarians and guests. Again, just delighted to have everyone here. So guests and visiting Rotarians, if you're joining us on Zoom right now, please identify yourself in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you could register your participation by sending an email to info@rotarygainesville.org. Pete Inwell, I see you are waiting patiently.
I'm a patient at a mental institution. Can you hear me okay? Is that all right? Okay, so many of you may not know that I used to work in a calendar factory, but they fired me just for taking a couple of days off. So we're going to sing. We're going to sing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. My goodness. Join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pete. And now Laurie Vidal.
What a beautiful day, huh? Isn't it? Let's just have a word of prayer as we start. Thank you, gracious Father, for another beautiful day, a beautiful fall day to enjoy the beauty of your creation around us. And we thank you for the presence of the Santa Fe College Teaching Zoo, providing exposure to animals many people might normally not be able to view, enriching many lives right here in our community. And we ask your blessings on the teaching and training provided to those who study and work at the zoo. And we thank you for the good times so many of us have experienced at the zoo with our children and our grandchildren. And we ask you now as we meet that we may continue to invest in projects that are beneficial to all concerned, like the Santa Fe College Zoo, spreading goodwill throughout our community through the experiences we help create and will create in the future. Thank you, Father, for the moments of enjoyment right now together we are about to embrace. I pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Laurie. You may be seated. If we have any visiting Rotarians or guests, this would be the time to make any introductions. No. Okay. All right. Thank you, Dawn. Oh, we got somebody in the back. Okay. We'll be there in just a moment. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Elizabeth Kaysen. I'm with Children's Trust, and I'm actually a Rotarian in Pahokee, Florida, visiting. Thank you so much for the warm welcome.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Welcome. So glad to have you with us. Anyone else? Okay. So Jason Shank. All right, come on up.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to be up you get to see me every week, so you should be really, really excited. But our sponsorships are coming right along. I want to thank everyone that's come on early and got onto the sponsorship opportunities that we offer. And just remind you that instead of spending money on a bunch of carrier ships that are sitting off the coast of California, you probably won't get your supplies. This may be a great opportunity to spend locally and contribute and give something back in the community. So as you reach out to your contacts that you do business with, everyone should have our sponsorship opportunities. If you do not, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to get those. And we're going to pull up just this week some of our new sponsors that came on. And I'd like to recognize those sponsors. So these are our current sponsors that we have up now. I'm not going to go through every one of them. So thank you very much. Give a round of applause. And then our sponsors from this week. Next page. Give me a second here. Okay, I'm going to cheat. So hang on just a second. We're going to improvise. No problem. Okay, I'd like to thank Radiant Credit Union. Thank you very much, Matthew, for helping us secure that sponsorship this year. That's fantastic. UF Health came on board this week, which is another great opportunity for us. Let's see, we have M. David Gracie Jr., CFP, that came on as well. Drummond Community Bank, Megan J. Gracie, DMD, Koss Olinger, and Dink and Peggy Henderson. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jason. Ryan Thompson, you have an announcement about Rebuilding Together.
Good afternoon. We had a wonderful time on Saturday. The weather cooperated for the most part. We got a little rain on us, but we had a great time nonetheless. Helped a wonderful family rebuilding the side of their house that had some weather damage. There's still some work to do. I'd like to thank, I think Wilbur Holloway gets a gold star for service this weekend. Coming out to both our project and then helping on Sunday out at the Game Feast site. Greg Young and Helen Warren also came out. So thank you very much for your hard work. And we're going to try to get out there again. There's still some work to do. So if we get some more dates put together, I'll be sure to let you know. But thank you.
Thank you very much, Ryan. And this time I'm going to turn the program over to President David.
Thank you, Melanie. Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to see everyone here on this beautiful day. Thank you, Lori, for that invocation. That was very thoughtful and meaningful. Thank you for the time you spend preparing that, and your delivery was beautiful. Thank you. Jason, doing an awesome job with Wild Game Feast sponsorships. We've got the guy that we need to have there, sponsorship chair. And Ryan, thank you for everything you're doing with Rebuild Gainesville, Rotary Rebuild Gainesville. A lot of hard work going on there. Thank you. I've got just three kind of brief announcements, we'll call them, but some things that are coming up that I want to make sure everyone's aware of. The first one, Craig Carter and I have been working on this, Pints for Perry. Hopefully most of you will remember that Perry McGriff was how many gallons of blood did he give, Craig? Lots and lots. So this is something that we have continued, to just show our appreciation for Perry posthumously. He passed away a few years ago, but we'll have the Life South Bloodmobile out here next Tuesday during our luncheon, and I hope you'll consider giving blood if you're so inclined. It's a great way to help the community and doesn't cost you any money, just costs you a little blood. Something that I like to do every time we have the Bloodmobile out here. Next, we have our Sustainable Cambodia auction, our international auction, coming up in 2 weeks. That's going to be on the 30th. And I've been standing up here before each meeting for the past several weeks to remind everyone, but this is really, we're getting down to it. We've got a great list of auction items. We're going to have an awesome auction, but we would like to try to pull in a few more kind of what we call big ticket items, maybe some vacation homes, things like that. If you guys know someone, some contacts that might be willing to donate a vacation home for a weekend, we would certainly appreciate that. You may reach out to myself or Richard Allen or Elena Frazier. So please take a look at that. Finally, Dwight just passed this around, put it on our table a few minutes ago, but we have our seafood. What are we calling it, Dwight? Is it the Seafood Fest? It's seafood. It's not quite the spectacular. That, Tom, you bring up an important point. There's a distinction this year. The Rotary Clubs of Gainesville Foundation decided that it would not be, it wouldn't be prudent to continue with a seafood fellowship the way we traditionally do this year, just with COVID, kind of getting over COVID now for sure. But when we were planning this in July, we just didn't want to move forward with it. So our club, I got to credit TJ for this. This is going to be a fellowship event for just our club. It's not going to be a big community spectacular, but it will be spectacular because we're going to have some awesome food and some nice libations and just it's going to be a great time out there at Hatchet Creek. That's going to be on December 2nd. That's a Thursday. So we're looking forward to some nice, cool, crisp weather, and we'll have a great time. We have got another wonderful program today. We've got two wonderful ladies that you're going to hear from, and I want to give them plenty of time. So I'm going to ask our programs chair, my friend Eric Godet, to come up and please introduce them.
Thank you, President David. We are in for a treat, and it's always wonderful to be here with you guys. But before we get started, I want us to recognize somebody who leads us in our Rotary Reading Safari, who is always behind the scenes, a quiet giant, Miss Marsha Eubanks. Let's give her a round of applause. Here we go. Marsha, that's well-deserved. Many of us have no idea all the work you're doing behind the scenes to make sure we have an incredible club. That's right. You do sell a lot of tickets. That's right. That makes it happen. So at this point in time, I want us to welcome one of Alachua County's own, our own Kelly Costumos from the school system that's always been behind the scenes. And if Marsha tell you there's somebody that makes this happen, it is Kelly. And I want you guys to hear a few words. Please give Kelly a round of applause.
Thank you so much. Jade is the primary speaker, but before our wonderful Jade came up to talk to you, I wanted to say thank you to all of you for all of your support for the Rotary Reading Safari. This past semester, we were able to do it via Zoom with Miss Dacey's class from Idlewild, and I think Jade will show you a few pictures. And the principal was like, this is fantastic. We really need to do this with every classroom. It was so great, and they loved it so much. So thank you guys so much. We think of this as a win-win this semester that we were able to continue doing it. It was a win for our students. It was a win for Jade's students, and we're looking forward to bringing it back to being a win for the Rotary, for you guys to get to volunteer as well. I wanted to show you what you guys contribution bought this semester for our students. We got them a lot of school supplies, but you also got them this set of beautiful books that we were able to give to every kid who participated. So they got 5 books to take home, one about turtles, what if there were no bees, what if you had animal feet, that was a favorite, birds of a feather, and the great kapok tree. So each kid in the class got to take those books home with them. Just as a personal story, because I got to go and volunteer in the classroom. I wasn't really volunteering, but I got to be in the classroom while we were doing Zoom. And the kids became so attached to us and they love it so much, just having the interaction with the volunteers. And when I see the kids from Idlewild, they ask me, how are your friends at the zoo? And so hopefully you guys are getting some thank you notes from the kids soon. And we really do appreciate all you do for our students and our schools.
Thank you. Round of applause for Kelly. Now, for all you Rotarians who have never participated with the Reading Safari, let me tell you, you have to try it. It is incredible. You'll get so much more out of it. The kids are ecstatic, but I always left there on a high. So without further ado, let me share with you our keynote speaker that we have here for our luncheon today. And that is Jade Salamone. And Jade is the Conservation Education Curator at the Santa Fe College Teaching Zoo. Jade has worked at the zoo for almost 7 years, mentoring zookeepers in conservation education and guest engagement, as well as facilitating community outreach programs. She is the coordinator for the Gainesville Frog Watch USA at Santa Fe College chapter, and also manages the zoo's conservation and sustainability initiatives. She serves as the education advisor for the Guam Rail Species Survival Plan and the Tree Kangaroo Species Survival Plan. She has a Bachelor's of Science from the University of Central Florida, an Associates of Science in Zoo Animal Technology, and is currently working on her Master's of Biology at Miami University in their Global Field Program. Please give a Rotary welcome to Jade Salamone.
All right, I should have a PowerPoint presentation. I guess you can see what I look like. That's probably a nice thing. I actually put my picture up here saying that's me because no one's seen my face in a year and a half, including myself. I don't really recognize myself in the mirror half the time because we actually wear masks at the zoo, outside, inside, all the time. Because we do have endangered species at our zoo that can contract COVID. Who knew? So we're trying to protect everyone at the zoo, including our community and our students. But thank you for that gracious introduction. I had a slide on here on a little bit about me, but we can just skip that because you guys covered it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how we brought Rotary to the virtual world this last year. And yeah, like I said, that's all my things that I do, but we can definitely go to the next thing. But that's a little bit about my background. Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. Appreciate it. If any of you have come to our zoo, can raise of hands for those of you who've been to the Santa Fe College Teaching Zoo? Spectacular. Well, please come visit because Eddie, our gibbon, just turned 40 years old and he's lived at the zoo almost his entire life. So please come give him a round of applause for being 40 with 4 kids right now, which is pretty intense. We actually had a little quarantine baby this year. Cajun had a baby while she still had a baby, and that's never happened. So that was a fun surprise. So lots to see at the zoo right now. So I hope you can come by. We're opening up more trails. You can walk at your leisure, or I'd be happy to introduce you to some zookeepers and do some animal encounters. So just a little background on how we adjusted with COVID. We had about an hour and a half in March to hire as many student zookeepers as we could so that we can have people work the zoo, which was really fun. And so we were able to do that, but we were closed to the public for about 7 months. And summer was coming around and I was talking to Kelly. We really wanted to do Rotary Reading Safari because it's a flagship education program we have at the zoo. It's something we take extreme pride in. When I go and visit educators around the country, I bring up this program and I encourage them to make these partnerships with their local Rotary clubs because it's so integral to the community. And it's just an amazing, amazing program. And so I bring this everywhere I go, asking everyone to partner with their Rotaries, and I'm happy to share anything with them. And so we kind of had to think about how do we take what we used to do, which was for those of you that haven't gotten a chance to come and volunteer, for 6 weeks, we bring 50 kids after school on Wednesdays for 2 hours. And each week there's a theme, they have a book that they read, and then we kind of reinforce everything that they're learning in those books by seeing it up close and seeing these tangible things that they can connect to. And our zookeepers gain so much from it because they want to be conservation education keepers when they go out there. Keepers are no longer behind the scenes. They're on the front lines. And that's actually a big part of my job, teaching them to be people, not just animal people. And this program really helps with that. We have so many keepers that are just horrified of children, and sometimes Rotarians. Like they're like, I don't know how to talk to anyone that isn't 18. So it really, you guys are helping them with a lot of social skills in a lot of different ways. So we were challenged to think about how to do this program. We knew that we couldn't have any kids sit for 2 hours on Zoom. No animal. I mean, if it was all animals, maybe, but a zookeeper probably couldn't engage them for 2 hours. So we got really, really creative. And we got really, really lucky to have teachers give up 2 periods each week for 5 weeks. And so we basically took a second grade class, their last hour of the day, 2 times a week. And we did reading and activities the first one. And then the second day was just reinforcing that theme even more. So that was really fun to kind of come back. We don't get to do that as much in person. So we'll probably try to figure out how to do that even more, is that we got to see, what did you remember from when we saw you a couple days ago? So that was really, really exciting to see what they did retain and get to bring those things back. So this is kind of what our classrooms look like right now. The zoo is a 10-acre classroom, but we're out there engaging each other and still doing everything we need to do to create the best zookeepers we possibly can. And then we're still kind of doing hybrid classes because we do have some capacity things in our classes. But just to give you what it looks like behind the scenes. And if you got to go to Rotary before and be a volunteer, look at all, I don't even see 6 inches between those people. There's lots of touching, no masks, pretty magical. And you could just see how the kids are just really, really focused on the zookeepers, and they just have these incredible moments together. And then this is kind of what it looked like after. So Kelly took this really great picture. Our keeper up there, Daniel, on the right-hand side, he's got an alligator, and they're talking about it. And so it was really neat for her to send that picture to see what the kids are really seeing. And if you can see Daniel there, look at this grown man. I love this so much. He's really teaching them how to do pollinators, and he's really connecting with them. And we had so many kids this semester raising their hands. If we took pictures any other time in the classroom, you'd see hands up. Like almost every single hand was up when we asked a question. And they really thought about things, and we could tell they listened to the things the keepers told them by the questions that they were asking. And so it was really, really cool to see. And one neat thing is we could kind of bring them to parts of the zoo we can't even bring them to in person normally. So they can see the lemurs from the trail, but they don't get to see their little faces up that close. So there are some benefits to the virtual aspect of it, because we can actually get them really, really close where they normally, that probably wouldn't be very safe. And so that there are benefits to that. And you can see they still did the reading aspect of it. So we kind of followed along with the book, but they all had their books in front of them. The teacher called on each of them, which was really nice too, to have the teacher there. She knew all the kids. And that was just really, really cool to see them still get to do that aspect of it. And they remembered things from the book, and then they get to take it home, and their families get to read that with them if we don't finish it, or if they want to read it over and over again. And so now I wanted to leave a lot of room for questions, actually, but we have a lot on the horizon. Kelly and I are still trying to talk about what does next semester look like. We feel comfortable with doing a lot more in person, but we all understand some of the challenges schools are facing with buses. So that's, even if we could create an ideal world where we bring all the kids back, how do we get them there? So we're still kind of thinking about new ways to do that. It's pretty tricky, but I think what I've just been so appreciative of is, one, Kelly, because she makes everything happen behind the scenes, and we just, she asks and we just try to fill in the gaps, or I ask and suddenly it appears. So I really, really appreciate her. But I really appreciate Rotary, because when we weren't sure how we were going to do this, we thought there might be a chance that you might not feel like it would have the same impact, and maybe be like, let's take a break until COVID's over. And we put the proposal forward, and we're just so grateful that you gave us this opportunity to still try this and still connect with kids, because I saw that connection. We saw their excitement. It really was very similar in that way, and how much they were learning and how much they were engaging in it. So I hope you feel like it was worth the investment this last year for us to do that. And I really appreciated the challenge to go virtual, because we trying to figure out how to make that equally engaging. Also, Marcia came every Monday to pick up all the materials, because we created, with your donation, we created these little packets that went with them each week so that they could do everything we were doing, and they'd leave with something physical. So she came every single Monday to pick up all that stuff and bring it to the school. So definitely great. Not knowing all the things she does behind the scenes for a program, that was one of the things that she was doing, making that happen. And it saved me a trip, which was really nice. But yeah, we have a lot happening in the zoo over the next 5 years. We actually just got accredited again by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, which is a very big deal in the zoo community. So we're really grateful that we're on the same level as Disney's Animal Kingdom and San Diego Zoo and Bronx Zoo, this little 10-acre zoo in a little hidden forest. But we don't want to be a hidden gem anymore. We want to be the community zoo, the community jewel, right? So we are working on a new master plan, and Rotary is in our brain always when we're doing this. So we want to create this huge educational complex, and I'm hoping that can make Rotary grow even more. So I'm sure you'll be hearing us talk about this more over the next 5 years, but the zoo won't be recognizable to you in the next 5 to 10 years, probably, in so many ways. So I just thank you for all the support that you've offered so far. And I am happy to answer any questions you have about the zoo or Rotary Reading Safari or anything like that.
Hi, some of us have young relatives coming into town over the holiday. Is there anything they could come to enjoy at the zoo?
Absolutely. We're still open every day from 9 to 3. So we are closed on Thanksgiving and then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But otherwise, we're open 7 days a week, 9 to 3. The staff members like myself do take a break for a couple weeks. Zookeepers are there all the time, but we can do special animal encounters and things like that up until about the 15th. So if you want to schedule something like that, we just completely redid our whole education section of our website just last week. So there's ways to reserve that if you just go on our website, and you can do some of those extra experiences. We're hoping in January to start doing some spoonbill feedings, which will be really fun. If you've ever gotten to see those guys migrating through. They're beautiful pink birds with spoonbills. But yeah, please check out our website on the education section. It really talks about all those extra zoo experiences you can have.
And kind of tagging on that for all the parents and grandparents in the room, this may have to be post-COVID, but y'all do a great birthday party.
Oh, thank you.
And my granddaughter actually had a birthday party at the zoo, and not only they get to tour the zoo, but then they get to go in the classroom and have animals brought to them. So it's a great experience.
Thank you. We actually just opened those up again. They're modified, but we just opened those up again. So we didn't even advertise it, and we're almost completely booked through the middle of December. So clearly everyone really wanted to get to the zoo for their birthdays. So thank you.
I was just wondering, what are your latest animal acquisitions?
Oh, thank you. That's a great question. As far as acquisitions, we just got some wood ducks in for our Florida aviary, so they should be going in there soon. If you hadn't been there since pandemic, you might not have seen, we have a brand new enclosure that has golden conures in it, which are an endangered species from Brazil. They're really beautiful, very loud. So we do have noise canceling headphones available if you need them. We have new additions, weren't necessarily acquisitions, but appeared nonetheless. We had our otters have 2 sets of babies. 3 of them, as part of their species survival plan, went to other zoos to be part of other families, but we have 6 right now, and we're going to be doing a lot with their habitat too. So they're constantly moving, and we're just going to make it a more dynamic environment for them to do that. And then Cajun, our white-handed gibbon, she had a baby last year, and we actually had a naming contest, and Campus USA Credit Union actually won. They outbid everyone, and they came up with the name CUSA. So he's there right now. But then Cajun, out of the norm, had a baby when that baby wasn't even 1. So she's got an infant, that, and then a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. So she's busy. And then Eddie's 40, so he's like, I'm here, but I'll play with the older kids. You take care of those little guys for me. But yeah, so that family is just booming right now. And we got another emu. Trying to think, a lot's happened in a year and a half. I'm sure you guys, your calendar's all messed up in your brain like it is for me.
Thank you for being here. I just I had a question regarding the students that are in the program. Is there like a degree they get in zookeeping, or how that works? Maybe you can.
Thank you for asking. Yeah, so right now our students that come through the program, we take a new cohort every other semester, and it's just short of 2 years. So it's 5 semesters straight. It's called Zoo Animal Technology. And so they get an AS in that. And we don't, besides that short stint during the beginning of the pandemic, we have never hired a zookeeper. We only did that because the college said no one could be on campus unless they were an employee and considered essential worker. So we hired as many as we could because they were essential. I was a keeper during that time. I also did all our education programming by myself. And we offered a free program called Zoo Zoom Birthdays for a while so that we were giving people something happy. It was free. I did like 38 of those on my own in a 2-month period while taking care of animals. That was really fun. But yeah, they're back on campus now. So they get that AS in Zoo Animal Technology. They get an AZA. I talked about that, Association of Zoos and Aquariums. They get AZA experience, which so many reputable zoos require. So we kind of, my boss always says we crack the code on that, because usually they want you to have experience, but where do you get it? And they also want you to have a degree. So it really helps out with that for sure. And not only are they working with the animals, they're taking classes that reinforce everything they do practically, and they also do guest experience. So they're the ones you're talking to in the zoo. If I'm not walking around, it's usually them in green shirts and a name tag. Anybody else? Thank you so much for having us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade. Jade, we are really proud and happy about our partnership with Alachua County Public Schools and the Santa Fe Teaching Zoo. And Marcia Eubank, you certainly should be credited for that. You do a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes, as Eric pointed out. And I'll quickly give a plug for the Rotary Reading Safari program and tell you that I'm really glad that was something that I decided to do a few years ago. It's certainly a time commitment, and Jade, you described the program really well, but I want to give you kind of a Rotarian perspective in that it's something where you're actually getting to, you're meeting weekly with these kids. And these are the schools that we partner with are from some challenged areas. These are challenged schools. So I can tell you for myself, and I know Buddy Irby had a similar experience. You're a little bit of a father figure almost. I'm careful about saying that, but some of these kids just don't have that male role model or even the female role model. And it's really a neat experience if you're looking to do something like that, folks. I'd say really give it a look, and Marcia can talk to you more about it if you want to do that. Jade, appreciate you being here today. Kelly, you as well. And to commemorate your talk today, Jade, we have our Rotary coin. On the front, it has our Rotary motto, service above self, which you clearly are all about that. Thank you for all you do at the Teaching Zoo. And on the back, it has our 4-way test. And this is something that a non-Rotarian may not be fully aware of, but Rotary, we're a group of folks that are committed to service for sure, but there's more to us than that. We love fellowship, and we also have a certain high regard for ethical conduct in our business and personal relationships. In fact, we have a 4-way test that we run everything we do by, everything we think, say, or do in our personal and business relationships. And it goes, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? So again, thank you for being here today and for all you do for our kids and our community. Okay, and what do you know? I have a Rotary Reading Safari ticket that I believe I drew. Maybe I didn't draw it. Yeah, I did draw it. I thought I did. I just left it on my table here. And Marcia, thank you for getting new tickets. These tickets have larger digits, so I don't have to wear my reading glasses. The last 3 digits numbers are 262. And before you scurry away, I want to just let you know that our speaker, our program next week will be our very own Brendan Shortley, standing up over there. Brendan's going to be giving us a kind of a state of affairs on the homeless situation in Alachua County. So I hope you'll join us next week. Meeting adjourned. You all have a great week. Thank you.